But if the spirit of him that raises up Jesus from the dead dwell in you, he that raises up Christ from the dead shall also quicken your mortal bodies by the spirit that dwelleth in you. The resurrection experience. This passage of scripture is letting us know that we have to have an experience with God. The same scripture that Paul was writing, that same spirit that raised up Jesus from the dead shall also quicken your mortal body. We used to preach in an old church talking about the quickening. And I didn't know what that meant. It was an old school church about the quickening. You ain't hear that a lot. And God will quicken you. And God will, and I didn't understand, what is the quickening? And what did it mean? And nobody ever told me what it meant. They just holler about the quickening. So I researched to find out what the quickening mean. It was simple: to make alive again. That the same spirit that raised Jesus from the dead will raise you up from the dead. And I thought, well, that's all well and fine and good when we die. And God said, no. It's further than that. It's more than that. See, technically, resurrection is not in the Bible. That's a no more modern term we use. Quickening is. But resurrection means, the simpler form is the same term, on the same line of a quickening, is you resurrected from something. You are raised up from the dead. Quickening means to make alive again, to be revived, to be woken up. And so when we talk about giving, that's why we use the term having a revival in church, because we need the spirit to be revived, to be woken up, to get the people alive again. Now you see, even today, whereas we're on Resurrection Sunday, or what we call Easter Sunday, folk don't come out to the church no more. They go home preparing Easter dinner. I remember back in the day where we used to stand out in the neighborhood and everybody wore a new suit, and they was it was a fashion show in Easter. You wore your new suit. You learned your little part in church when you was a kid. The women with their new dresses, and it was a fashion. It was a runway aisle up the streets in the city. Churches were packed out. You had to get there early, or you wasn't going to get a seat. That's right. You ain't got to worry about that here. And this is the attitude we give God. Because we don't learn, now they buy new sneakers instead of new dress shoes. And they don't wear, at least I still traditional. I would at least buy a new jacket or something for Easter, or a new shirt, just to say, hey, and there's nothing wrong with the tradition. It's just the way we did things back in the day. But now, we don't even show up for church. We're going to have Easter dinner. Did you go tell the Lord thank you? No. And see, this is why people don't get resurrected, because you know what? They stay dead. That's why you can't get delivered, because you know what? You didn't have the experience of being resurrected. Resurrection is an experience. It's not, you can't teach it. You got to feel it. In order to be resurrected, you have to be dead. Or in order to be a victor, you got to be a victim. In order to understand, riches, you really appreciate poverty. You got to understand poverty. Most people who went through something, they didn't have no money, appreciate money. Those who are born in money have a certain air because they don't know how to make it without money. We're born in a generation of teaching our young people not to struggle. So when it's time to be resurrected, they don't know how to get back up. They don't know what the source of go through. You're going to appreciate being married until you've been single for a long time. Or you're going to appreciate having a good relationship before you had a bad relationship. But you got to wait in that time when something died on you. The time when something died and before it made alive, that time is when you're going to have that resurrection experience. When you thought you're never going to make it. Have you ever been to a place where you thought you'll never revive or survive? Have you ever been to a place where you never thought you'll get out again? Have you ever been to a place you thought you'll never get money back again? Your life is over, it's gone. And then all of a sudden, you've been resurrected. Your life's been quickening. You've been made alive again. And you went through the process of crying, doubting, stressed out. And all that experience comes in when you need God to deliver you right now. Right now, I'm having a resurrection experience even in the church. And like being new and Lord, we need this, we need that, we need money, we need workers, we need laborers. You say pray, I'm praying for laborers, I'm praying for finances, I'm praying for this and that. But when I get the experience of going through, see, I had to experience death, then I got to experience the middle part of waiting and hoping and don't know if it's going to happen. But once it happens, I'm appreciate it because I'm going by the experience when I didn't have, what I did to the struggle. And you get stronger once you come through. You get better when you come through. You get resurrected when you come through. When you go through something, you appreciate it better. You appreciate your car more when you had to walk and catch the bus. I remember one time, I think my car was in the shop, and I think I went to the gym, and the gym was downtown. And I said, I want to go to the gym. Because when you used to a car and your car break down, you feel like you're stranded on a desert island. Amen. Because before I didn't have a car, I was used to getting on the bus, waiting on the corner. And it was fine because I didn't know how it felt to have a car. I didn't know what it means to have a car. So when I finally got a car, I was driving around. It was easy because see, I had to, when you're on a bus, you got to prepare for a journey. You got a backpack. Make sure I got my, got some protection. I got some extra clothes or something. A shirt, you sweat it out. We got some water. You like going on a journey. You got a book bag. Every time we catch the bus, you got a book bag, especially when you're going on a long bus ride. And I used to live in the city, and Security Boulevard was a long bus ride for work. So I had my bag. And I had to wait on the corner. You had to dress. You had to know. You knew the weather when you're catching the bus. So I had to get ready to go to work. But then finally, I worked at a car dealership. And I remember the first time, because I had to be to work around 8 o'clock or 8:30, 8 o'clock. In order for me to get to work on time on a bus, I had to get up at 6 o'clock. I had to be by the bus stop at 7. Takes you an hour to get up to security on the bus route. I got a car. I got up 6 o'clock. Got ready 6:30. Got in my car and drove to work. I was at work at 6:45. I'm like, what I'm doing here so early? What happened? Didn't know on a car it took me 15 minutes, but on a bus it took me an hour. I was resurrected. I'm like, whoa, this is new life. I didn't have to wait. Folk wasn't looking at you crazy. You ain't had to get a bus pass. Like when I had to pack my lunch because you couldn't go nowhere. Then I forgot my lunch and wait a minute, I can drive across the street and get me some lunch. And the crazy part, we got off at 4:30 or 4 o'clock and I had to get ready, pack up again. I usually get home at 6. So I said, let me see something wrong. Let me drive home. We got off at 4 o'clock. By 4:20, I was home. I'm saying this is amazing. Y'all might think it's small. For a person been catching a bus all life and then finally drive, that you don't know what God can do. In the same way God will do our life and we resurrected. But when I didn't have my car and I got on the bus, I missed the convenience of having transportation. It's a different world. I went to different places I've never been before. We start going to D.C. with Deacon. We start driving around in places, and then I start seeing other things. And I couldn't go. Columbia was too far. They didn't have a bus route there. I went to Columbia, and I saw new things in D.C. I started discovering that it was another life, just from one piece of transportation. Guess what? That was an experience for me. God will give you that same experience in your life. He'll give you a resurrection experience. He'll give you something you never had before, or he'll make something new or alive again. Some of us need our mentality revived. Some of us need our marriages revived. Some of us need our finances resurrected. A lot of us got some dead things going on in our life, and we need a resurrection experience. Let me tell people, sometimes resurrection means I'm not going to give you a new one. People always want to say, well, God, give me, I see so many people leave their husbands and their wives and leave their families and thinking there's something better out there. Ain't nothing out there. Because you're going to get the same, that woman driving, that woman crazy. Or that man crazy. Let me tell you a secret. All women are crazy and all men crazy. They all act the same in some sort of way. Everybody got this certain things. A woman going to be a woman. If you can't deal with a woman, you can go to that woman, white woman, pink woman. Certain women got certain traits. Every man got a same trait. Now they might differ from one another, but you're going to still have to deal with the marriage. I always tell people, the grass is greener on the other side, but baby, you always got to mow the lawn. You got to maintain a relationship. You got to maintain a job. Yeah, you might have this job is better than that job, but guess what, boo-boo? You still got to work. No matter what. But God will resurrect what you already have. God may not give you a new one. He might make that what you have new again. God, when Jesus came to Lazarus, Jesus didn't give Lazarus a new body. He made it alive again. Pastor, what are you talking about? How you make it alive again? First of all, get a new perspective on things. Look at things differently. I found that sometimes God don't change your situation. He need to change you. Somebody told me, well, I'm leaving my husband. And I talked to him and I was counseling him. I'm leaving him. And I could see, I was saying to myself, I said, is he going to lose? Because I know she was crazy. Or he going to win? And I was sitting there like, whoa, I'm thinking maybe the blessing for him or for her. But I tell people, I'm going to get somebody new. I say, but baby, you taking you with you. The problem is not him, it's you. You can leave him, but you ain't going to leave. You need to leave you. You need to be resurrected. Oh, this woman boring. Well, do something exciting to get her excited. You got to resurrect things in your life. This job is this and this. I hear people making a lot of money complaining about their job and don't do nothing. I said, I know this one person who really makes a lot of money. They get a company car, and she doesn't, she didn't like a new supervisor. And because the supervisor kept getting on her nerves, coming in the office and messing with her and making her do certain work. And I said, how much you getting paid? She said, well, I'm making over 6 figures. I said, did she walk up and slap you? No. I said, how much you making again? Did she cuss you out? No, she just she doesn't listen to me. I say, she cannot listen to me at all. I say, for that kind of money, she can actually cuss me up and down. And I will come to work over the check. I say, what are you complaining about? But because they look at it differently, they don't look at it alive. I said, now what time? I said, what time do you get to work? She said, well, I get to work at 9. And I say, and what time you leave? Late? No, I get to leave at 5, and we don't. I said, do you carry your work home? No, I don't work at home. I don't carry no work home. And they allow me to stay home 2 days a week. I just stopped. And I held my hand back. I said, I feel like slapping you. But if you look at it as a terrible job, your perspective is messed up. If you look at it as a bad thing, you can't be resurrected. And sometimes you need to change your mindset. And I learned to change my mindset. Let me say this, y'all. I have a lot of complaints about how churches doing and a nonprofit running. Let me say this. I could complain up and down.